Hi everyone, I'm Lefty. Today is part 1 in the first 4 shots baseliner series of the tennis tactics for left-handers topic. This installment is going to feature the most widely used lefty deuce-court serve tactic, which is also Rafa Nadal's all-time favorite. In addition, you will be learning the best serve types to use for serving to this location as well. Furthermore, I will discuss and show animated tactical diagrams of primary return locations that you can expect to encounter from your opponent, as well as primary high percentage serve +1 locations that you can hit to in each of these situations to counter your opponent's return and control the point. That way, during your game, you'll be able to recognize a particular situation and make the correct shot selection accordingly. The tactics that will be shown in this video are designed for both lefty offensive and lefty defensive baseliner styles of play. These tactics are intended to be used against right-handed baseliners. So now, without further ado, let's dive right in. The most common lefty first serve location from the deuce side of the court, and Rafa's all-time favorite, is the T serve. Data collected from over 300 of Rafa's matches shows that he targets his deuce court first serves down the tee around 50% of the time. The other 50% of his deuce court first serves are split between body serves and serves out wide. This data sample, provided by the ATP Tour, breaks down Rafa's primary deuce court serve locations and confirms his preference for the T serve. There are two main reasons why serving down the tee is generally the favorite deuce court first serve location for lefties like Rafa. First, when you serve down the tee, you are serving to your right-handed opponent's backhand, which is usually their weaker side. As such, it reduces their ability to hit a strong return. Second, when you serve down the tee to your opponent's backhand, it minimizes the possibility of them hitting sharp angles. For deuce court second serves, Rafa targets the tee as well as the body, each around 45% of the time, for a combined total of about 90% of the time. The body serve is an effective location. However, it does require a greater degree of accuracy, and if it is not precise, then it will land right in the returner's forehand or backhand hitting zone. As such, it is generally considered a secondary low percentage tactic that is best used as a surprise shot at most player skill levels. On the contrary, the lefty deuce court T serve is considered a primary high percentage tactic that is highly effective in attacking the right-handed returner's backhand. So, the tee serve will be the focus of this video. Now let's talk about the best types of serves to use when hitting a deuce-court tee serve. Rafa's favorite first serve type when serving down the tee from the deuce side of the court is the slice serve, since it causes the ball to bounce away from the opponent. In addition to the slice, a hard, flat serve is also an effective first serve, since it takes away the returner's time needed to take a full backswing and, consequently, forces them to take a shorter swing or block their return back, causing a weaker reply. For second serves, the slice serve is an optimal serve type to use at most players' skill levels, since the slower pace allows for more accuracy and it is also easier to execute technically. In addition, at more advanced skill levels, the kick and topspin serves are also very effective serve types. However, they are more difficult serves to execute technically. Yet, since they are slower paced serves like the slice serve, they allow for more accuracy while at the same time causing the ball to jump out of the returner's hitting zone, thus making it more difficult for them to return. Now that we have reviewed serve location and serve types for you to use in the deuce court, let's move on and look at the most likely return scenarios you can expect to face, and also high percentage serve plus 1 locations for you to hit to in order to control the point. The first scenario we will examine is your opponent's most likely primary return location, which is back towards the middle of the court. Since the tee serve essentially cuts off your opponent's ability to hit a sharp-angled return, oftentimes it results in softer, higher balls coming back up the middle. Start the point by serving down the tee. As previously discussed, serving down the tee to your opponent's backhand side sets up a forehand to backhand exchange, which puts you into the offensive hot zone. If your opponent's return lands deep around the middle of the court, your high percentage serve plus 1 tactic is to hit a deep reply into the ad court to your opponent's backhand side and then recover to the right of the center hash mark as shown here in the diagram. Recovering to this position gives you a comfortable margin to cover a high percentage cross-court return plus 1 reply with your forehand, while also allowing you to cover a low percentage down the line return plus 1 reply with your backhand. On the other hand, if their return lands short around the middle of the court, then move inside the baseline to take the ball early, hit a forehand or backhand serve plus 1 reply deep to the ad court, and then follow the ball to the net to prepare for your opponent's return plus 1 reply. Notice that you do not want to retreat backwards to the baseline to recover. The reason for this is that by backpedaling, you put yourself into a defensive position and give your opponent the upper hand in gaining control of the point. Although approaching the net is not the most comfortable option for baseliners, It certainly is the smarter option in this case, and smart tennis is what we're about here at Lefty Tennis. Once at the net, a good neutral spot to stand at is inside the deuce box, near the middle of the center service line. This gives you enough time to equally cover either a cross-court or down-the-line passing shot, as well as a deep lob from your opponent. The second situation we will examine is your opponent's next most likely primary service return location, which is cross-court to your deuce side. You can expect this, especially if your opponent has more time to get into position to return the ball and take a bigger backswing. Returning the ball to your deuce side has several advantages for your opponent. First, they will be hitting behind you to your backhand side, which is most likely your weaker side. Second, returning cross-court is a safe, high-percentage option for them, since they will be hitting the ball across the lowest part of the net, thus giving them more margin to clear the net with their return shot. Third, they will also have more room to hit to, since there is an extra 4.5 feet of space cross-court, as compared to hitting the ball in a parallel line straight ahead down the court. Let's now take a look at high percentage serve plus one tactics you can use in this situation to counter their cross-court return. If their return lands short, then move inside the baseline, hit a deep serve plus one reply down the court to their ad side, to their backhand side, then follow the ball to the net to prepare for a cross-court, down the line, or lob reply from your opponent. Alternatively, if you receive a deep cross-court return, then follow the Wardlaw directionals principle in deciding where to hit your reply. In this case, if you have time to hit a runaround forehand, and if your opponent recovers to the deuce side after they hit their return, then hit a deep serve plus one forehand reply down the court to the ad side, to your opponent's backhand side. Then recover to the right of the center hash mark along the baseline to cover the return plus one reply. If, however, your opponent hits a cross-court return that crosses your body with enough power or speed that doesn't allow you enough time to run around your backhand and hit a forehand, then, based on the Wardlaw directionals principle, counter their shot with a deep backhand serve plus one reply right back to where the ball came from, towards the middle of the court and to your opponent's backhand side. This sets up a neutral zone situation. Based on the Wardlaw directionals principle, you want to hit the ball back to this location in order to avoid the high risk associated with potentially mishitting a down-the-line shot off of a ball that is coming across your body with power or speed. After hitting this serve plus one shot, recover to the center hash mark along the baseline as shown here to prepare for your opponent's return plus one reply. If they move across the center hash mark and recover to the ad side after they hit their return, then hit your serve +1 deep cross court to their stretched out forehand. After you hit this serve +1, then recover to the right of the center hash mark along the baseline to prepare for their return +1 reply. If they recover to the middle of the court to the center hash mark along the baseline, then you can hit your serve +1 either deep down the line or deep cross court with equal effectiveness. After you hit this serve +1 to either of these locations, then recover to the right of the center hash mark along the baseline to prepare for their return +1 reply. The third and final and least likely primary situation you should expect is one in which your opponent returns the ball to the ad side of the court to your forehand side. From this diagram, you can see why this should be your opponent's least likely option when you execute your serve correctly. If they return the ball deep and recover to their deuce side, they would be hitting to your forehand, your strength, and would be leaving themselves open for a deep cross-court serve +1 forehand reply to their backhand side. This would keep you in the hot zone and consequently would put them in the defensive cold zone. After you hit your serve +1 reply, move towards the right of the center hash mark as shown in the diagram to prepare for a high percentage cross court or low percentage down the line return +1 reply. If they return the ball deep and recover towards the middle around the center hash mark, then you can hit either deep down the line and recover towards the middle around the center hash mark, or you can hit deep cross court and move to recover towards the left of the center hash mark with equal effectiveness. If they recover to their ad side, then hit a deep down the line serve +1 reply behind them into the deuce court and move towards the right of the center hash mark to recover and prepare for their stretched out forehand return +1 reply. The reason you want to recover towards the right of the center hash mark in this particular case is to cover your backhand to avoid being put into the neutral zone and instead force your opponent to hit a weak, stretched out reply cross court, which will keep you in the hot zone and consequently will keep them in the cold zone. Alternatively, if their return lands short inside the baseline on your ad side, and if they move to or past the center hash mark to recover just before you hit your serve +1, then you should approach, hit a deep driving forehand behind them to their deuce side, and then follow the ball to the net to prepare for the next shot. However, if they stay on their deuce side of the court after they hit their return, then approach, hit your serve +1 shot deep cross court to their ad side, and then once again follow the ball to the net to prepare for the next shot. Well, that concludes this episode. I hope you can use these tactics to raise your tennis IQ and win more points. In the next video, we will be discussing and diagramming a lefty baseliner deuce-court serve tactic that is also the tactic that gives Rafa his highest winning percentage. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, like button, and also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you'd like to receive notifications of future videos. So now, go out and try this tactic. Let me know how it works for you, and remember to get in the hot zone.